guy this morning. I hope y'all are ready to talk. So I'll ask the question, and if you know it, let it rip. Tater chips, all I got to say. Who was Abraham's nephew that lived in Sodom and Gomorrah? Lot. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, got one. How were the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed? Fire and brimstone. What happened to Lot's wife? Turned to a pillar of salt. She turned around, didn't she? Turned around. What's the lesson you get out of that? What you got? Who wants to give me the lesson about that? Don't look back. That's right. That's right.
Don't look back longing.
Longing. Don't look back longing. You know, sometimes, I don't know, that look back may not be the worst thing we do because we don't want to make the same mistakes. Kind of like history classes, you know. You study history so you don't do the same thing again. But the desire to turn back. So, exactly. So, you know, we have to be careful not to look back. It is hard. You know, it is hard to not fall into that trap. But anyway, there's a really good story behind the, unfortunately for her, turning into a pillar of salt. It's a good lesson for us. So, how many of Abraham's trained soldiers did he take to rescue Lot when he was kidnapped? Getting a little hard now. Somebody said it. 318. Yep. Somebody said it back there. It's all right. What king and priest of God did Abraham give tithes to? What king and priest of God did Abraham give tithes to? Melchizedek. Mm-hmm. Woo. Showing off. Melchizedek. All right, so Abraham said he would not take something from the king of Sodom, lest he say, I have made Abraham rich. This one got me a little bit. I had to read this one 2 or 3 times. I'll read it again. There's a blank in here. Abraham said he would not take one blank from the king of Sodom, lest he say, I have made Abraham rich. Sort of like the spoils, but he said, that he would not take one shoelace from him. That's about the ultimate of saying, I'm not going to take anything until it says a shoelace. A shoelace. Shoe latchet is the actual word, but shoelace. So who was known as the father of the faithful? Your Abraham himself, right? How many men came to Abraham to tell him that Sodom was going to be destroyed? 3. Why did God destroy the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah? Their wickedness. He couldn't find how many righteous souls at the end of the story. He couldn't find 10. He couldn't find them. God knew that the whole time, right? When he was not bargaining with him, but talking to him or whatever. He knew there was not even 10 righteous souls. I think Abraham knew it too. No. Do you think he plays us a little bit that way sometimes too? Maybe. Teaching us lessons the whole time? You know, when we know the answer. It goes back to, you know, I don't know. If Daddy was here, he probably couldn't hear me because he wouldn't be listening. But there's the old saying that, you know, the older I get, the smarter my parents get. Well, you know, a lot of truth behind that, you know, because, you know, it just is what it is. And we talk about it, Heather does, as teachers and parents and all that kind of stuff. When we try to tell our kids, especially our teenagers and stuff, you know, we're going to be teenagers, that you know the answer before you ask the question, you know. And even with God, when we go in prayer and we're asking, you know, whatever you're asking, you kind of know where he's going to lead you because you know what's best to start with, you know. So in a sense, you know, I'm sure when he was saying, can I find this many righteous souls, he knew there wasn't going to be 10 to start with. So, who was born to very, very old parents? Isaac, okay? And how old was Abraham when Isaac was born? 100. He was old. Him was old. Miss Seal, that's older than me and you. That's old, Miss Seal. He used to be old. Getting younger every day. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Who said the words, is anything too hard for the God? Who said the words, is anything too hard for the God? That kind of goes into that same story. Actually, God was talking to. God said it. Yeah. So who did Isaac marry? Rebekah. Can you name the two sons of Isaac and Rebekah? Jacob and Esau. Which one of them liked to hunt and stay outdoors? And which one of them liked to dwell in tents? That'd be Jacob. What's that all about? Dwell in tents. Does that be like living in the city this day and time? Yeah, I don't want to leave. I'm sleeping outside. I'm sleeping in a tent. I'm living in a house. I don't know. That's one of my sick thoughts, is weird thoughts that goes in my head. To dwell in tents. Didn't they all dwell in a tent in a sense? Just kidding. He was the houseboy. That's kind of where I didn't want to say that out loud, but he's the houseboy. He kind of soft a little bit, and the other one kind of hard a little bit. Kind of lazy, kind of soft, yeah. Mama's boy. Ma'am? That's right. That's right. I shouldn't call him soft, but that's a good point. Good point. So Miss Moore getting us on track again. Thank you. Who was almost offered as a sacrifice by his father? And who stopped Abraham from offering his son as a sacrifice? Angel of the Lord. And what sacrifice was actually done instead of Isaac? A ram. That's ram in the bush. That story gets me every time. You know, I was blessed to have a son as a kid, and to think, you know, sometimes I wanted to put him on that rock and whoop him like that. But to know that I had to go sacrifice him, that's a whole different world. You know, to think that, you know, that was even a question. But did Abraham question it? God told him to do it, so what did he do? He told the servants, y'all stay here and we'll be back, right? He knew God was going to provide somehow or another, right? Which is the next question I just told you. Anyway, what did Abraham say to Isaac when he said, we have the wood, the fire, but where's the sacrifice? God will provide. Yeah. All right, so she's got bonus beside this question. All right, getting a bonus. Getting a phone a friend bonus or something. Used to be on that show. What did Sarah do when she heard the Lord tell Abraham that she was going to have a baby in her old age? She laughed. She laughed. She got picked on for laughing a little bit, but I might laugh myself if he told me I'm going to have a baby late in life. So, all right. Who was told in a dream? What? But she said she didn't laugh. But he knew her heart, didn't he? Story behind that too, as well, right? Right. Who we trying to fool? One of our Wednesday night guys. I wrote that down. He said, I don't remember which one it was. I have to look at my notes. Said at the end of the day, who we trying to fool? Because it's not us that we got to worry about, right? God knew her heart. He knew she laughed or whatever. So, yeah. Yeah. And that's where she messed up, because she wasn't following the plan. That's right. So who was told in a dream, you are a dead man because you have taken another man's wife? Abimelech. Abimelech. So Abimelech, the king of whatever, Gerar, knew that God was with Abraham, and he gave Abraham gifts. So what were the gifts? Think back hard on this. What were the gifts that Abimelech gave Abraham? And he did it because he knew Abraham had God on his side. You know, he knew he had to do right. The gifts. Anybody getting a little technical now? It was sheep, it was oxen, and it was silver. He actually brought him 3 gifts for whatever. What did Jacob purchase Esau's birthright with? Y'all remember this? bowl of stew. Yep. A bowl of red stew she's got. Soup, pottage, whatever. Who deceived his father for the blessing by covering his hands with goat fur and wearing his brother's clothes? Again, there's a lesson. We can try to hide it, but it still is what it is, right? Who had a dream about a ladder going up into heaven and angels going up and down on it? Jacob. And who wrestled with an angel all night long? The same guy, right? Jacob. So who did Jacob love and want to marry? Oh, Rachel. How many years did Jacob work to be able to marry Rachel? 7. But he actually had to work 14. He actually worked 14. It's a long time, huh? That's some hard love right there. Yep. Because I don't imagine he was dwelling in no tent for 14 years. When it said he was worked for him for 14 years, I imagine there was work involved. Just guess. The what? 21 and all. Who did Rachel's father trick Jacob into marrying first? What was her name? Leah. And who was Rachel and Leah's father? Laban. Laban. L-A-B-A-N. All right. Can you name the 12 sons of Jacob? I think there's a song. Can you name the 12 sons of Jacob? I didn't get the bonus question. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Gad, Naphtali, Asher, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. Can you name Jacob's daughter? Dinah. And who was Jacob's favorite son? I know Jacob's favorite son, according to this one? Joseph. Who's Joseph's mother? Oh, Rachel. Yep. What are three names the first 5 books of the Old Testament are called by? Pentateuch's one, the Law, or the Book of Moses? All 3. Pentateuch's where we usually go. What book of the Bible tells us about the creation? Genesis. Who was the brother that all the sons of Jacob didn't like and couldn't speak kindly to him? Oh, Joseph, right? What nickname did Joseph's brothers give him? The dreamer. The dreamer. They just didn't have any idea, did they? Which one of the brothers taught the other ones out of killing Joseph? What did they end up doing? Suggest. So, yeah. He suggested to him. They ended up selling. He wanted it to put him in a pit, and then they go rescue him later. And look like they did something, right? So. He wasn't there. So, who did Joseph work for when he was sold into Egypt? Potiphar. What did Joseph do when Potiphar's wife wanted him to sin with her? He run. Run, Forrest. That's what he did. I'm out. I'm gone. Something we need to do today sometime. We run. Just said no. Just said no. He ran. That joker ran. Tore his clothes, basically, just run. Get away from it. What does the word inspired mean? When the Bible says it was inspired, God breathed. That's good. What does the Old Testament mean, and who was it for? What does the Old Testament mean, and who was it for? I'll give you the covenant between God and Israel, and it was for the Jewish nation, most of it. So what does the New Testament mean, and who was it written for? The church. It's a covenant between God and all of mankind, right? Not just the Jewish nation, but everybody. Everybody. All mankind. What two dreams did Joseph interpret for Pharaoh? You remember? Okay. The cattle, some were skinny, some were fat, right? And the corn, some was thin, some was fat. Joseph told the meaning of these two of dreams for two men in prison. Who were they? What did those two guys do? Butler and the baker. That's right. Do you know who Joseph's wife was? I never say this right. Asenath. I don't know if I say that right. Asenath. I can kill some names in the Bible. Is that right? Okay. Name Joseph's two sons in birth order. Manasseh and Ephraim. Who was Abraham's wife after Sarah died? Keturah. Keturah. Why couldn't they just come up with names that I could say? You know?
But we never ever talk about it, how many children Abraham had with her.
Exactly. I don't even know that answer. Y'all know that answer? 8. Who said, has God said, you shall not eat of every tree in the garden? Who said that? Oh, serpent. Oh, Satan. Oh, Satan said, God said, you shall not eat of it. Who said, let us go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech? God said, let us go down. Confuse all that language. Who said, I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Who was God speaking to? Oh, Abraham. Who said, for we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. God and the angels, kind of talking to the angels. If it's to destroy, he's mad. He's mad. Who said, I have served you 14 years for your daughter? Here's the question anyway. And 6 years for your cattle, and you have changed my wages 10 times. Old Jacob. We were just talking about old Jacob. That love was strong. Who said, my master has committed all that he has unto my hand, all that he has unto my hand, neither has he kept back anything from me but you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Joseph. Joseph. Who said, 3 times a year shall the males appear before the Lord. Who'd God say this to? And then he told it to other folks. God said this to Moses, and then Moses told the Israelites. 3 times a year shall the males appear before the Lord. All right. This book got harder as it went. Who said, observe thou that which I command you this day? Behold, I will drive out before you the Amorite and the Canaanite and the Hittite and the Perizzite and the Hivite and the Jebusite. God's telling them again, right? Who was Moses' wife's name? What was her name? Zipporah. Is that a cool name? Zipporah. Why didn't we not call Lakin that? That would have been awesome. Zipporah. Who was Moses' father? Amram. Amram. Moses' sister's name? Miriam. Brother's name? Aaron. Who was Moses' mother? Jochebed. Who did Jochebed hide in the river from Pharaoh? Baby Moses. Oh, baby Moses. Who helped find Moses a nurse? His sister. Who found baby Moses and loved him? Pharaoh's daughter. What does Moses mean? What's interpreted Moses? Drawn from the water. Moses fled Egypt because he killed who? Killed an Egyptian. And what did Moses do when he lived in the desert? Tended the sheep. The old shepherd boy, right? Living in a tent. What did Moses see in the desert that was unusual? I look every day of my life for that same thing. Burning bush. Something to talk to me. Tell me, send me right. A burning bush. So what did God want Moses to do when he spoke to him through the burning bush? These are my people. He was told to free the Israelites from the slavery. Go get them. So who was Moses' helper when he went to speak to Pharaoh? Aaron. All right. What two signs did Moses show Pharaoh that God was all powerful? Mm-hmm. Yep. Staff turned into a snake and the leopard arm, whatever. Mm-hmm. Do you know who Moses' father-in-law was? Jethro. Miss Moore had to do this. She had to think back in that filing cabinet. Jethro. All right. Can you name the 12 plagues? 10 plagues. Is it 10? It was 10. That was a trick question. Can you name the 12? Bet you can't. Nobody gets the bonus. Anyway, can you name the 10 plagues? She's got the orange card. I don't know what name of it was. Blood, frogs, lice, flies, the murrain of cattle, bulls, hail, locusts, darkness, and death of the firstborn. You ever thought about that darkness thing? That'd be bad. Darkness, complete darkness. You ever been in complete darkness, like 100% complete darkness? It's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling. To know that everything is there. No sign of nothing.
I think that was a miraculous darkness that they were talking about that the candle wouldn't even pierce.
Candle don't even pierce. Man, that's crazy. That's something. That's dark right there now. That's dark. All right. What did the Israelites do to prevent the angel of death from coming to their homes? Put blood on the doorpost. That's what they were supposed to do anyway, right? When did Pharaoh let the Israelites go? After the firstborn died. That's right. It's awful. What led the Israelites by day? Pillar of cloud. That's right. Who were Joseph's sons that were to be a tribe in Israel? Who were Joseph's sons that were to be a tribe in Israel? Ephraim and Manasseh. Mm-hmm. All right, well, if the pillar of cloud led them by day, what led them by night? That'd be crazy too. Pillar of fire. I'm assuming it's like a cloud in my brain, a cloud of fire going across there at night. Mm-hmm. Straight up. Mm-hmm. Okay. Gave them some light. Mm-hmm. Well, who led the children of Israel? Moses. Okay. And when the Israelites were thirsty after they were in the wilderness, what did they do? Same thing we do today. Yeah, they murmured and complained, right? Same thing we do today. Nothing new, is it? What sea did the Israelites cross on dry ground? Red Sea. Red Sea. We were talking about it in one of them classes with the kids or something other. Anyway, if you had a chance to see one of the big things that happened in the Bible, this is one of mine, to see the parting of the Red Sea. To actually see how that happened and what have you. It's tremendous. What happened when Pharaoh chased after the Israelites? The sea covered them up and they died, right? What mountain did Moses receive the Ten Commandments on? Mount Sinai. What was the tabernacle? What was it? A tent, place of worship. All right. Case talked about this last week a little bit, I think. What three rooms or places describe the parts of the tabernacle? It was kind of like three divisions in a sense, three places. There's the courtyard, the holy place, and the most holy place. What tribe of Israel helped with the sacrifices? The old Levites. What pieces of furniture were in the holy place? See, Case would be proud of this because he just talked about this. See if y'all remember. Okay. Altar of incense, table of showbread, and the golden lampstand. What piece was in the most holy place? Ark of the Covenant. Where did God dwell with the Israelites? She calls it the mercy seat in the most holy place. That's where he was at, right? Where he quote unquote dwell. Name the two men that gave God special wisdom. No. Name the two men that God gave special wisdom to help make the articles in the tabernacle. There's a guy from the tribe of Judah and one from the tribe of Dan. I'm not even going to try their names. One was a B and one was an A. Bezalel and Aholiab or something. Anyway, it was a guy from the tribe of Judah and a tribe of Dan that helped make the articles in the tabernacle specifically. Who was called a stiff-necked people? Israelites. Why were they called that? Disobedient, kind of stubborn a little bit. Wouldn't listen. Dang. Talking about us again, eh? Oh. Man. Like people today, I know, right? Like us. Stiff-necked. Not like Rodney's stiff-necked. He has a reason to be stiff-necked, but who was covered with God's hand as the Lord passed by on the mountain? Moses. What three things were inside the Ark of the Covenant? Go on now. Bob has taught you well. You taught him. Oh, okay. You taught Bob. I got that backwards. Okay. Nice. Aaron's rod, a pot of manna, and the Ten Commandments. How many days did Moses stay on Mount Sinai talking with God and receiving the Ten Commandments? 40 days, 40 nights. What had the children of Israel made and were worshiping when Moses came down from Mount Sinai? A golden calf. In 40 days. That's right. It's just, we didn't make it. I promise you we didn't. You know we didn't make that thing. But in 40 days, they went from doing pretty decent to having an idol that they had built, or appeared, as they said, but had built. Isn't that crazy? 40 days. That's not that long. Went back to what they did. Let over. Okay, so what's the simple story out of that right there? In 40 days, they went from decent to worshiping something. How do we not do that? What's the kid lesson in this right here? We got to have God in our life every day, right? Because in just 40 days, 40 short days, they turned and went right back to what they had left from, right? Yeah, that impatience thing. Talking about us again, I tell you. He's whooping us. What had we didn't do that. What did Moses do with the golden calf to punish the Israelites? Made them drink it. Woo, come on. Burned it, ground it up, and put it in water and made them drink it. Oh, my goodness. Put that down in memory. Tell you what I'll do. You'll drink it. Who was the first high priest? Aaron. And what did Moses' face do after he had been with God on the mountain for 40 days, 40 nights? Shone. I bet it did. Can you name Aaron's 4 sons? You can name 2 of them pretty easy. Nadab and Abihu. You probably knew them. Eleazar. Ithamar. Okay. Who were Aaron's 2 sons that offered strange fire? Nadab and Abihu. Boy, that was perfect. Look at that. Perfect. We only have 1 more page. 2 more pages. Don't even mourn it. Just move on. They did wrong. They knew they did wrong. Move on. It's crazy. That'd be hard. Thank y'all. Y'all passed.